Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gauratveshi Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Galadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. So dear devotees from VIHE, we are continuing our study of Sri Isopanisad under Bhakti Shastri. Today we are starting the mantra number 10. Yesterday we finished the mantra 8 and 9. So up till mantra 8 there was a different section. From mantra 9 the new section started. 9, 10, 11 and 12. So in this section there are two main words, Vidya and Avidya. Generally Vidya means knowledge, Avidya means ignorance. But here the context is, the meaning in context is little different. So yesterday we understood Vidya means knowledge, but which knowledge? So-called knowledge of modern materialistic education. And Avidya means ignorance. So ignorance is darkness, but so-called knowledge is more dangerous. That was the yesterday's theme. Today's theme is Vidya gives one result and Avidya gives the other result. So let us read the mantra. Anyadevaho vidyaya anyat ahor avidyaya iti shushramah dhiranam yenastad vichachakshire. So, iti susharma dhiram. Iti susharma dhiram. Thank you. Iti susharma dhiram means the wise, the learned, those who are self-realized. Ye nastad vichachakshare have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge, anyad evahu vidya, and that the different result is obtained from culture of nescience, anyad ahur avidyaya. So this is our translation as it is, but it is given with a breakdown. The wise have explained that one result is derived from culture of the knowledge, and that the different result is derived from the culture of nescience. So, if you go to the next slide, this is the repetition what we have seen yesterday. Why Upanishads are difficult to understand? Because the multi meaning words. There are words which are same but the meanings are different. So, say for example, even Bhagavad, if Ras Leela, if in Ras dance, the word is Shri, which doesn't mean Lakshmi, which means Radha. Because context is Ras Leela, where Lakshmi has no entrance. So there Shri means Radha, not Lakshmi. So similarly the word Atma, which has many meanings, body, mind, soul, even super soul. So the Acharya can really give the perfect meaning according to the context. So in mantra 9, which we did yesterday, the Vidya means so-called knowledge. So-called knowledge means material knowledge of a modern education, in which they are completely blind about the science of the soul, but they pose themselves as learned scholar. They are educated but not wise. They are educated but not wise. And ninth verse, avidya means normally ignorance. In our today's verse, the vidya means devotional knowledge. It means spiritual knowledge. And avidya means ignorance and so-called knowledge. Now, 11 verse we may start today. You see, in 11 verse, Vidya means same thing, spiritual knowledge, Krishna consciousness, devotional knowledge. But avidya is also useful in verse number 11. It is not ignorance, but it is the material knowledge essential for living in this material world. So ignorance means knowledge of the body and for the maintenance of the body in material world. So if we see spiritually, in verse number 11, Vidya means spiritual knowledge and avidya means material knowledge. Is this clear? 3 verses has a different meaning of the word Vidya and avidya. Is it clear? Everybody is confident, comfortable?
Yes, clear.
Now we are going to the next slide, which says Mantra 10 overview. So first 2 paragraph, Vidya leads to desirable qualities. So somebody can say, tell me what is the meaning of Vidya in this verse?
Devotional knowledge, spiritual knowledge.
Right, devotional knowledge, spiritual knowledge leads to desirable qualities, which means it is favorable to Isha Vasa principle. Avidya leads to undesirable qualities, para number 2 to 5, which means it is against the Isha Vasa principle. It is unfavorable, unharmonized. And the rest of the purport 6 to 9 says only Dhira can teach Vidya. Dhira means sober. Only Dhira can teach Vidya. Vidya means spiritual knowledge, and Dhir actually means like a spiritual master or advanced devotee who knows the difference between the body and soul and the relationship between the soul and the super soul. Now after that, the next slide given in our teaching schedule is changing conception of knowledge. Well, in Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj explained knowledge is devotional service. It is transcendental. When Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj, what have you learned? Then he said, Jasarvanam Kirtanam Vishnaho Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Atma Nivedanam Iti Punsham Arpitam Vishnu. So this is the standard of knowledge or concept of knowledge in bygone days. In those days, the ideal of a person was Supreme Lord, and to love and worship Him was the goal. Then came the era, like Socrates era, where knowledge is virtue, it is sattvic. It means it is one mode of goodness. Sato sanjayate jnanam. So people's goal from the God came to at least saintly person because they impart the knowledge, which is in mode of goodness. So then the saints were worshipped. Instead, mostly God, you can see the two major religions, the prophet and the son of God is more prominent than the God himself. So I'm generally saying the concept of God has become little faded, and the concept of the spiritual people who give the knowledge become more prominent. But by the time Francis become, the knowledge is power, which is rajasic, which means in mode of passion. Then they exploit the others. And now, and at this time, the people came to worship at least the powerful and patriotic kings. That were their idol, not saintly persons, not God, but the heroes were the powerful people. Like we have in India Shivaji Maharaj, Maharana Pratap Singh, in the West or in other places, Alexander the Great, it's like that. Then now actually, which is not written in this slide, the concept of knowledge is ignorance, popularity only. And people's hero are the cinema actors and cricket players. It means the completely ignorance is knowledge of a modern, the cinema, the malls and all this sense gratification. This is the modern concept of the knowledge. So now the word vidya, if we mean knowledge, then Srila Prabhupada in our purport has given the 5 verses from 13th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, in which there are 20 items which constitute knowledge. Well, just for the purpose of completeness, I am reading the verses. Amani tvam adambhi tvam ayan sakshantirarjavam acharyopasnam shocham misteryam atma vinigraha indriyartheshu vairagyam ahankareva cha janma mrityo jara vyadhi dukha dosha nudarshanam asakteranaviswanga putradaragrādisho nityam ca samachittattvam ishtānoishtapapatisho mayi ca ananya yogena bhaktir avibhicharini vivikta desha sevitam artirjam samsiddhi adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam etaj jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yadato anyatha. So the last line says these 20 items are considered knowledge, and anything which is against that is called ignorance. Out of these 20 items, the most important single item, if we practice that, then the all rest other items will automatically follow. And that item is Mayi cha ananya yogena bhaktir avibhicharani. Mayi, when Krishna is speaking, it means Krishna. Ananya yogena bhakti avibhicharani means pure unalloyed devotional service. So there is the pivot, that is the central point for all the other characteristics of the knowledge to manifest in a person. Yasyasi bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarvair guna samasate suraha. Those who are great devotees of the Lord, they have all the good qualities, same as Supreme Lord, but in minute quantity, as we have yesterday discussed, 80%. So, I would say the next important item which Srila Prabhupada has given in the purport is Acharya Upasana, which means following the spiritual master, taking initiation. These are the two most important items for being knowledgeable or having vidya. Now in our slides there is a complete purport by Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad is given. So I am not going to discuss, this is for you to refer yourself in the slides and enrich your knowledge. I am only going to discuss the one word amanitvam. And somebody can tell me what is the meaning of amanitvam. What Srila Prabhupada has written in the first line.
Pride. Freedom from.
Sorry. What is the word to word meaning for amanitvam?
Freedom from pride.
Freedom from?
Pride, humility.
One should become perfect gentleman and learn to give proper respect to others. Can you see in our book? Advice, Prabhupada is number 1. There are number 20. Prabhupada is here paraphrase the meaning of all 20. 18 items. Now read Chatra, the first item.
One should become a perfect gentleman himself and learn to give proper respect to persons other than himself.
Oh, it's like that written in my book. It is written, one should become a perfect gentleman and learn to give proper respect to others. So there's a little difference. Okay. You are reading from the English or Chinese?
Sorry, different. I shall read again. One should become a perfect gentleman and learn to give proper respect to others.
Right.
Yes.
So, anybody can now recall some good other words which is very similar to this? Right. Amanina mana dena kirtanya sadahari. So, This is the first qualification of knowledge which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has included in Shikshashtakam, right? And in our purport we will come to know that this is missing in modern education. So, Amanitum, and now just for the completeness of our study, read the number 2. Adam Bhitvam, somebody should read the number 2.
One should not pose himself as a religionist simply for name and fame.
And this is the subject matter of our purport, para number 4 and 5. Pseudo-religionists, they have no Adam Bhitvam. You go to the go in a slide beyond the Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad's purport that you can read on your own. Go to the slide which says avidya leads to undesirable qualities. You got this slide, Shama? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right. Right. Now see, avidya leads to undesirable qualities. And this is in para 2 to 5. So what is in the para 1 is actually these are qualities of the knowledge. So number 1, students no amanitum, means they are not perfect gentlemen. They don't respect their elders. Prabhupada writes they give headache to their elders. And students grow up to be scientists. No ahimsa. They create the havoc by inventing the very lethal weapons like atom bomb, chemical bombs, and now biological weapons and so many things. So this education, which instead of giving the humbleness and respect to make gentlemen, it is making the people learning for earning, not for character building, not for morality, but for monetary benefit, not for construction but for destruction, not for cooperation but for competition. So now you read the number 3 in our book. Reads number 3 in our book.
One should not become a source of anxiety to others by the actions of his body, mind or words. This
is the meaning of ahimsa, non-violence. Very wonderful explanation. Now when you do Bhagavad-Gita, you refer these definition of all these words in Isopanisad by Srila Prabhupada. Ahimsa, non-violence. Amanitum, adambitam, ahimsa. Okay, read number 4. Yes.
One should learn forbearance even in the face of provocation from others.
What is this? Shanti.
Shanti.
Tolerance. Next.
One should learn to avoid duplicity in his dealings with others.
So what is the next? What is the next verse? Next word in the verse? Okay, I should go. Amanitom adambitom ahimsa kshantir arjavam.
Arjavam.
Yeah, this is arjavam. This is arjavam. Arjavam means straightforward. Janar, it means straightforward, which means no duplicity. Read the word 6, 6th item.
One should search
One should search out a bona fide spiritual master who can lead him gradually to the stage of spiritual realization. And one must submit himself to such a spiritual master, render his service, and ask relevant questions.
So which verse is now coming in your mind when you read this? Acharya Upasanam. Which verse?
Acharya Upasana. Pranipaten Pariprashnen Sevya.
Yeah, this is the verse. This is the verse as it is Prabhupada is quoted here. Acharya Upasanam, translation is Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadekshanti Te Jnanam Jnaninam Tattva Darshana. Or somebody should read the next. Jai. Oh Jai. Dikra tu subha mamari katte. To prasad lai pajasu. एक मिनट वो करे सो तू पे सुएर आराम से कैसा ले रही ओके नंबर 6 or 7 number 7
Shocham.
yeah, number 7 is Socham, right? Read this here.
One must follow the regulative principles enjoined in the revealed scriptures in order to approach the platform of self-realization.
So Swacham in a purport is like a two type of purity. Purity of the body and purity of the soul. Purity of the body is by taking bath, and purity of the mind and soul is by chanting holy name. So Swacham is double. Bodily purity by bathing and purity of the soul and mind, consciousness by chanting holy name. Number 8.
Sterium.
Sterium. So one should be fixed in the tenets of the revealed scriptures. Okay. Next.
Atma Vinigraha.
Yeah, this Atma Vinigraha here is Prabhupada translated. Somebody should read. What is it in there?
One should completely refrain from practices which are detrimental to the interest of self-realization.
So self-realization means Atma. Vinigraha means restraint. Restraint. Avoid the activities which are against the self-realization. Right. Now, next 10.
Indriya Artheshu.
In the Indriya Artheshu Vairagyam.
One should not accept more than he requires for the maintenance of the body.
Right. 11.
Ahankara.
Yeah, 11 is Ahankara. Now read the definition of Ahankara by Srila Prabhupada here. One should not falsely identify himself with the gross material body. Nor should one consider those who are related to his body to be his own. Ahankar. Ahankar means false ego. False ego means I am body, I am not soul. 12. Read the 12.
One should always remember that as long as he has a material body, he must face the miseries of rebirth, repeated birth, old age, disease and death. There is no use in making plans to get rid of these miseries of the material body. The best course is to find out the means by which one may regain his spiritual identity.
So this is the whole line. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukh Doshanu Darshanam. Okay, next.
One should not be attached to more than the necessity of life required for spiritual advancement.
This is asakti. Asakti means non-attachment. Next.
One should not be more attached to wife, children and home than the revealed scriptures ordain.
Anabhi swangha putra dar graha adishu. Next.
One should not be happy and distressed over desirables and undesirables, knowing that such feelings are just created by the mind.
So samachittatvam, equal vision. 16.
One should become unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna and serve him with rapid attention.
That is the Mai Chananyan Yogena Bhakti Ravi Vicharani. So samata ishtanu ishta papatishu. What is the word to word meaning for this word? Ishta nishta papatishu. Ishta anishta. Ishta means require those which are favorable. Anishta means those which are unfavorable. So samachitvatam, it is with samachitvatam, same thing. Ishta means favorable, anishta means unfavorable, right? Okay. 17. Yeah, 17.
One should develop a feeling for residing in a scheduled place with a calm and quiet atmosphere, favorable for spiritual culture, and thus avoid congested places where the non-devotees congregate.
Vivikta desha sevitam. Vivikta means a solitary place, lonely, live alone without disturbance. Vivikta sevitum. Aratir jan samsiddhi. Aratir jan siddhi means not being arati means not attached, not having much interest. Jan samsiddhi means common people. Next.
One should become a scientist or philosopher and conduct research into the spiritual knowledge, recognizing that spiritual knowledge is permanent, whereas material knowledge ends with the death of the body.
This is Adhyatma Gyan Nitatvam Tattva Jnana Artha Darshanam. Adhyatma Gyan Nitatvam. So, in our purport, if you go, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has said something like that. He said there are 20 factors to be used for gaining that knowledge, and the first mentioned in 5 verses. Of these, 18 are common to both the devotees and jnanis. However, the devotees zealously engage only in one element, that is Mai Chananya Yogena Bhakti Avicharani. Other item will come automatically. So the two items which are for jnanis, they are the last 2 items. Last to be scientist and jnani and all these are the 2 items for the jnanis. But the rest of them, that are the meaning of different words. So we are going back to our slide. Avidya leads to undesirable. Okay. So breakdown. Can you see the breakdown, and then we read our book. So the avidya leads to undesirable qualities, page 2, paragraph 2 to 5. Students, no amanitvam, no socham. Now you know what is no socham? They don't bath and they don't chant. Alright? And when a student grows to be scientist, no ahinsa. Which means, what is in our book for the ahinsa? They become source for anxiety to others by their action of their body, thought and mind, or by words. Now the pseudo-religionist among the Adam Bhitvam, para number 2. And the fourth para, 4 and 5, is nationalism at a bodily concept against the Ishavasha principle. Therefore, there will be undesirable qualities. Okay, then we will not read our slides now. Only there is one slide, nothing more here. So now read our book. Now somebody should read the first paragraph. These 18 items, somebody should read it from here.
These 18 items form a gradual process for developing real knowledge. Except for these 18 items, all other items, whatever, are grouped within the category of nescience. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great Acharya, said that all the forms of material knowledge are merely external features of the illusory energy, and by culturing them, one becomes no better than an ass.
Okay. So, first is 18 items are knowledge, and anything which is against that is ignorance. So this is the first part of the purport, right? Now the next part of the purport is, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the modern education is the display of external energy, means Maya, and it leads and this leads to the activities of a ass, means donkey, which means karmi, which means only working for learning for earning. The definition of ass is learning for earning, but even with they don't eat much. So the ass, Prabhupada said, what is the other word for the ass? Is fool, muda. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that all the modern education is in the category of the external energy, in the jurisdiction of external energy, and culture of this education make one not better than a hard-working animal ass. Now, same principle, read further. This same principle is found here in.
The same principle is repeated. Material advancement of knowledge means actually converting a human being to the status of an ass. Some materialistic politicians, under cover of spiritual governments, do decry the present system of civilization as satanic, but unfortunately, they do not care for the culture of real knowledge which is described in the Bhagavad-Gita, and therefore they cannot change the satanic situation.
So what is this paragraph is not actually connected with the knowledge. This paragraph is connected with pseudo-religiousness, right? The politician acting as a religionist, but they are actually not knowing the real knowledge given in the Bhagavad-Gita of the religion. So again read this, some materialistic politician in spiritual guise declare the present system of civilization as, they say, this is satanic. This is, what is satanic means? This is, there is a Bhagavan and there is, right?
Demonic.
Yeah, Bhagavan and Satan. One is godly and the other is ungodly, is satanic, demonic. But they don't know really the knowledge. They are so-called show-caste religious people. Okay, go read the next paragraph.
In the modern society, even a boy thinks himself self-sufficient and pays no respect to elderly men due to the wrong type of education being imparted in out university. Boys all over the world are giving their elder headache. Thus, Shri Upanishad very strongly was that the culture of niceness is different from that of knowledge. The university are, so to speak, center of niceness only. Consequently, scientists are busy discovering lethal weapons to wipe out the existence of other countries. University students today are not given instruction in the regulative principle of brahmachari, celebrates students' life, nor do they have any faith in the scripture's injunction. Religion's principles are taught for the sake of name and fame only, and not for the sake of practical action. Thus, there is animosity not only in the social and political fields, but in the field of religion as well.
Okay, now somebody can draw some. There's a one question in your question bank from this paragraph. What is that question? Find out the question in this paragraph in your question bank.
What is the root cause of universities being centers of new science?
Okay. So this is the line. Now you have to explain why the universities are called the center of nescience. So you have to answer this after you have you have just read this para. Now you answer this question right now.
Because universities are teaching only for earning money.
Okay. What is this? Is not in the purport. This is what I said. They are learning for earning. Okay. You see what Srila Prabhupada said and why it is nescience. So at least the two reasons which are very clear in this.
Scientists are busy discovering lethal weapons to wipe
So they
the existence of other countries.
Because the modern education is destructive by inventing the lethal chemical, atomic, biological weapons to destroy the world. So it is a nescience. Okay, now what is the next? This is one part. And how it is avidya? Why it is avidya? Because it is
No faith in spiritual injunctions. They are not providing any information.
no, because it is against ahimsa. It is hinsa. Ahimsa is knowledge. Hinsa is ignorance. This is against the principle of knowledge, ahimsa, non-violence. Now find out the second. Here, phone can let me. Yes, draw the second answer from this purport. Second part of the answer from this purport.
Religious knowledge for the sake of name and fame, but not for practical application.
This is actually pseudo-religious. This is a separate topic, not university's business generally.
University today are not given instruction in regulative principle of brahmacharya.
Oh well, this is all right. Well, read the first beginning of the paragraph, then you will come to the real answer. In our slide we have given this and you have read it.
university didn't teach the boys, the students, to become a perfect gentleman himself and learn to give proper respect to others.
So this is not given. This is not been told. What they are being told is just opposite that. Read this. Modern society, even the boy think they are self-sufficient, pay no respect to elders. They give headache to their elders. So what is this education? This is amanitam.
Amanitvam no socham.
And no socham means they are not, which is everything included in no socham. So the universities are not teaching them to be humble, to be gentlemen. There is no character or morality. Then this common saying, this is a common saying. Wealth is lost, nothing is lost. Health is lost, something is lost. Character is lost, everything is lost. Do you know this old saying?
Yes, Prabhu.
So this modern education, they don't care for character. Which is lost, then everything is lost. They only focus on money, which is lost, nothing is lost. In our time when we were going in school, from outside it was written, come to learn. And from inside there was a slogan, go to serve. So learning is for service, not for earning. Education means to bring out. And education, a word coming from Greek, which means educare, which means to bring out. What is inside you, to bring that out. Not impose something on somebody. Modern education is simply information and some skills, but no values. Information and skill, but no value. Therefore, the character and morality is evaporating like ether from the modern educational system. Teachers are not respected. Parents are abandoned. And of course, in student life, there is no scriptural education of the celibacy, self-preservation. Okay, read the next paragraph. Okay, so this paragraph has second part also. Can you see pseudo-religionist? No adambhitvam. This is also in same paragraph under the students. Since they make a show of religion, but they don't have a religion. Now see how these are pseudo-religionists. They show that they are religions, but they don't know what is religion. There are some festivals, say, I don't know, in India you need, in a year there are, in Maharashtra there is a say Ganpati Utsav. In Gujarat there are this Navrata, 9 nights of the Devi, say. They make competition simply who has made the big Ganesh, who has made the big arrangement for dancing. But what is going on there are the filmy songs and all nonsense. So they are claiming to the religious, but they are doing most of irreligious things. And it's simply competitive. Have you seen all this? Oh, whose pandal is big? Whose Ganesh is big? So this is not the purpose of this. Is not amanitum, it is adambhitvam. It is adambhitvam. It is a dambhitvam. It is not adambhitvam. Dambhitvam means falsely proud. Now we are going to the next 3 paragraphs which Srila Prabhupada has discussed about false nationalism. Okay, please read the next 3 paragraphs.
Nationalism in different parts of the world has also developed an account of this nascent education of the people. They have no information that this tiny earth is just a lump of matter floating in immeasurable material space, along with many other lumps. In comparison to the vastness of space, these material lumps are like dust particles in the air. Because God has kindly made these lumps of matter complete in themselves, they are perfectly equipped with all necessary arrangements for floating on in space. Our Sputnik drivers are very proud of their achievements, but they do not look to the supreme driver of these greater, more gigantic Sputniks called planets.
Okay, Soumya, what you understood by this paragraph? What you understand from this paragraph? It is nothing in there, but the lot is written there. Anybody else can deduct some message from this paragraph, what Prabhupada wants to say?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, this paragraph is connected with the mantra, the first invocation mantra. That means the God.
Yeah, this is very nice. Om Purnamada Purnamidam is connected with that. That is right. That everything created by God is perfect and complete. That is right. Some sweet rice you keep there. Some. Keep there. Okay, sorry. So this is one very nice chatura. You got the one part of the one point of the paragraph. Now discuss the second. What message Prabhupada is giving?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Prabhupada wants to say that nationalism has made the different parts of the world. Actually, it is only one lump of matter floating in the air.
What is that one lump of the matter which is floating in the air? And there are so many lumps. What this is? That what this means?
This matter is complete in itself.
No, what Srila Prabhupada
Continents, Prabhu?
What say Chatura?
Continents?
Well, the
lump of mass.
earth, the one is the earth, okay. This matter which is earth, which is on this planet. And similarly, there are many other planets in the sky. But
They're just like dust particles in the air.
It means they are all matter, but only when spirit enter into it, therefore they are in their orbit.
Active, yes.
And then Prabhupada says, now when you have aeroplane or a spaceship, you know there is a driver behind it, controller. So all this whole universal affair has no controller. So what Srila Prabhupada wants to tell us that all this whole system belongs to God. Why we divide this planet into different nations and make a boundaries and fight for that. It belongs to nobody. It belongs to God. So the message you got it completely now due to Ishavas. It is the nationalism, superficial nationalism, fanatic nationalism is against Ishavasha principle. This is therefore it is avidya or ignorance. So now go to the next paragraph. Somebody can remember some verse from Bhagavad-Gita regarding this paragraph and the next?
Aham sarvasya prabhu.
Well, this is also good, but I am looking for the verse in 15th chapter. Gamavishyancha bhutani dharyami ahamodsa. I enter into the planets and make them to float. Gam avishyan bhuta. So I enter into the earth, therefore it is floating. Around the earth there is a water, below the earth there is a water, but it's not sinking. Because I keep it in its position and orbit.
Verse 13.
Yeah, yadad is before that is yadaditya gatam tejo jagat bhasyate akilam yachandramasi yachagano tatejo vidimamakam gama vishyancha bhutani dharyami ahamodsa pushnani chosati sarva somo bhutva rasatmaka. So these are the verses which are actually the what Prabhupada is actually quoting here. Now read the next paragraph. Yes. Gopika, okay, Gopika.
There are innumerable suns and innumerable planetary systems also. As infinitesimal, parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord. These small creatures are trying to dominate these unlimited planets. Thus we take repeated birth and death and are generally frustrated by old age and disease. The span of human life is scheduled for about 100 years, although it is gradually decreasing to 20 or 30 years. Thanks to the culture of nescience, befooled men have created their own nations within these planets in order to grasp sense enjoyment more effectively for these few years. Such foolish people draw up various plans to render national demarcations perfectly, a task that is totally impossible. Yet for this purpose, each and every nation has become a source of anxiety for others. More than 50% of nations' energy is devoted to defense measures and thus spoiled. No one cares for the cultivation of real knowledge. Yet people are falsely proud of being advanced in both material and spiritual knowledge.
So what you gather from this purport? What is the message in this purport? Prabhupada, yes.
We are very insignificant, Prabhuji, but we are still trying to be controllers and Ishvara.
Yeah, there is the one phrase Prabhupada always used to say, lording it over material nature. The living entity in a conditioned state try to lord it over material nature, therefore he is frustrated, suffering and rotting in the repeated birth and death. Right? This is the first part. Now second part. What is the second part? At least in this age we have to live for 100 years, but people by their own destructive habits are damaging their bodies and live less than 100 years, Prabhupada, right? 30 years. Why? Because they want to enjoy, and for that enjoyment what they have created the boundaries on this earth, and their 50% energy and efforts are simply for the defense measures, and that all human energy is wasted. But still, thanks to the nescience, they think that we are highly educated both materially and spiritually, but they are completely blind and ignorant. Actually, generally when I preach, I say the two things. People want to be master of the two things. One is the land and other is the money. Everybody wants to own the land and money. The money is called Lakshmi and land is called Prithvi or Bhudevi. And both are actually consort of Lord Vishnu. Lakshmi belongs to Vishnu and Bhumi, Prithvi or Bhudevi belongs to Vishnu. Anybody who try to claim to be the controller, master or enjoyer of these two things will always suffer, will always be frustrated, and will always destroy himself. So Lakshmi, the Bhudevi and Shri Devi. The money is Shri Devi Lakshmi and Prithvi is Bhudevi. When the foolish people think that they want to enjoy, they laugh. They are laughing that before you so many kings came and they tried to be owner and enjoyer. But they are gone in the history. Only their names are there. So what we should actually do, we should be better son of the mothers and accept them as a mother and God as a father and serve them, then we will be happy. Okay, read the next paragraph.
Shri Isopanisad warns us of the faulty type of education, and the Bhagavad-Gita gives instruction as the development of real knowledge. This mantra states that the instruction of Vidya knowledge must be acquired from Dhira. A Dhira is one who is not disturbed by a material illusion. No one can be understood unless he is perfectly spiritually realized, at which time one will neither anchor nor laminate for anything. A Dhira realizes that the material body and the mind he has acquired by chance through material association are but foreign elements. Therefore, he simply makes the best use of bad bargain.
Okay, what you gather? Now we are coming to the next topic. The knowledge comes, you get from Dhira, and Dhira means self-realized person. And this knowledge is given in Bhagavad-Gita, which is quoted these verses in the beginning. And Isopanisad is teaching us this faulty nature of the modern education. And we should get knowledge from the Bhagavad-Gita, and those who are realized in Bhagavad-Gita, we should get knowledge from them. And then Prabhupada writes last, what is the meaning of good use of bad bargain? Best use of bad bargain, what is the meaning?
So we got the material body, but it's a bad bargain.
Well, somehow we got the material body, which is a bad bargain. So what is a good use, best use?
To get self-realized.
Okay.
Take advantage of this life.
Yes, Krishna conscious. Somebody can recall some verse. I'm just giving you a hint from the Shikshastakam of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Is it
No. Good use, best use of bad bargain. No, best use of Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Vam Vishame Bhavam Buddhao Tava Kripa Padapam. So somebody read this verse all. Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram. Hey, son of Nanda Baba, I have some doubt how fallen. I don't know how, but I am fallen in this material world. That's what Srila Prabhupada writes. By contact with material world, I am in this material world. So this is a bad bargain. So best use. What is the last part of the word? Verse?
Bad bargain.
No, bad bargain is that we are falling in the material world and the material body. What is the good use? Namrata?
कृपया तव पाद पंकज स्थित धूलि सदृशं विचिन्तये.
So, give me place at your lotus feet as a speck of a dust. It means make me your servant and devotee. So that is the best use. Can you see this one? Now you can see this verse in this purport. Somebody can quote some words from Bhagavad-Gita where the word dhira is used.
Dehi kaumari tasmin tatha dehi kaumari yovanam jara tatha dehantar prapti dhirasthana muhyati.
This is the one very famous verse which is the beginning of his spiritual life. Dhira is one who is not bewildered by the change of the body, because his focus is the soul. Okay, go to the next paragraph. Let us finish these two more paragraphs.
The material body and mind are bad bargains for spiritual living entity. The living entity has different functions in the living world.
Okay,
But this
1 minute. Can somebody paraphrase the material body and mind are the bad bargains? Can somebody paraphrase these two words? How many bodies we have?
Subtle body and gross body.
Yes, these two words are denoting the gross and subtle body. As long as we have subtle body, we are bound in the material world.
Material world.
And the third body is explained as a living entity, spiritual body. So, this is the way to look at the two. These are the two. Why Prabhupada has put the two words? He denoted the two bodies, the gross and subtle body. Okay, go ahead.
As long as the living spiritual spark manipulates the dead lumps of matter, the dead world appears to be a living world. But actually, it is the living souls, the part and parcels of the Supreme Living Being, which move the world. The Dhir are those who have come to know all these facts by hearing of them from superior authorities, and who have realized them by following the regulative principles.
Go next. Oh, where is our Jagannath today? Yes, Jagannath? Jagannath is not here? Oh, Patita, Taran Jagannath. Oh, this is the one rule of the VIHE. Everybody should keep his video on, otherwise you may be sleeping or doing something else, and I am here wasting 50% of my energy like the defense force with no use. Nanda Gopadas, oh, Birjender Kumar. Birjender? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Make a rule. Everybody should have a video on.
Yes, that rule is there, Prabhuji.
So what is the criteria for attendance on the online?
Yeah, Prabhuji. So usually it will be considered as absent unless they have a reason for keeping it off.
So I see so many students without their beautiful bad bargain on the screen. Maybe they are using the bad use of the bad bargain. They have to use the best use to hear the Isopanisad. Rather, they are a bad bargain of their beautiful body or face. They are hiding. It means they are doing the bad use of the bad bargain. But Prabhupada writes, use the best use of the bad bargain. Here Isopanisad. Okay? Oh, Neila Gopadas, what you want to read? No?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I?
Who is this?
This is Rohini.
Okay.
To follow the regulative principles, one must take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. The transcendental message and regulative principles come down from the spiritual master to the disciple. Such knowledge does not come in the hazardous way of nascent education. One can become a dhira only by submissively hearing from a bona fide spiritual master. Arjuna, for example, became a dhira by submissively hearing from Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead himself. Thus, the perfect disciple must be like Arjuna, and the spiritual master must be as good as the Lord himself. This is the process of learning vidya, knowledge from the dhira, the undisturbed.
Okay, Rohini Devi, what you think you have learned from this passage?
We should take knowledge from the spiritual master in a bona fide disciplic succession.
Most important two things are there, I can see. Can somebody note? Well, one is most important except spiritual master, which is like a dhira. That's right, but two most important other words are there.
This submissively here, Shravana.
Yes, this is most important, Namrata. There is a submission which is like amanitum. And there's one most important other word. Because the two words are there. The transcendental message and
The knowledge.
no, what is the word there? Transcendental message and
Regulative principles.
yes. So regulative principles are actually the seed of devotional service. Rules and regulation given by spiritual master is seed of devotional service. And transcendental knowledge, which we hear by hearing and chanting, that is watering the seed of devotional service, and then our devotion will fructify. Now read the last paragraph quickly, then we discuss few things. I have to connect my computer, and then you come up with the other question from this section, and then when you go to the next verse and begin that. Read the last point.
An adhira, one who has not undergone the training of a dhira, cannot be an instructive leader. Modern politicians who pose themselves as dhiras are actually adhiras, and one cannot expect perfect knowledge from them. They're simply busy, seeing to their own remuneration in dollars and cents. How then can they lead the mass of people to the right path of self-realization? Thus, one must hear submissively from adhira in order to attain actual education.
Okay, now you see what are the questions in a question bank, and then we'll discuss from this section, and then we start the verse number 11. You find out all this. 2 minutes, I'm connecting my computer. Okay, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, yes. Only about nationalism we have the last, in our slide there's a last mantra, which Prabhupada often used to quote. Nationalism identifying with body. This is a very common famous verse Prabhupada used to quote. Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke swadhi kaltradi shubhaum ijjadhihi yatatirtha buddhi salilena kahachet janeshu abnageshu saeva gokharaha. So most important word in this whole verse is janeshu abhigneshu, means dhira. Janeshu means people, abhigneshu means those who are well versed with the spiritual knowledge. If you don't actually learn from them, then simply you identify your body, nationality, family, then it is all ignorance. And you go to the holy place and think it is only water, that is also useless. Okay, now what is the question, bank question? Other question from the question bank?
What are the some of the qualification of a dhira?
Okay, what are the some qualification of dhira? Now, since we have 2-3 paragraph about the dhira, so somebody can enumerate few qualification of a dhira.
Dhira is not disturbed.
Dhira is
undisturbed.
Dhira means undisturbed. Undisturbed in the... Okay, if dhira means undisturbed in the provocation, what is that quality of a knowledge? Undisturbed in the middle of the provocation, even there is a provocation. What is that quality of the knowledge?
The dealer has realized the material body and the mind, which he has acquired by chance. Yeah, this material association are foreign elements, and therefore he just made the best use of a bad bargain.
Yeah, this is the one thing. But I just asked one question. The one who has asked, give the answer. I asked the question. Dhira means one who is not disturbed, who is sober, who is not provoked by the arts of the life. What is that quality in our 18 qualities of the knowledge? Shanti. Chatura, you said this is the first qualification from our purport, that he understands that he has a bad bargain, but he knows that how can he best use that. That is the one aspect. Okay. What is the other characteristic of dhira?
One who submissively hears from this bona fide spiritual master and follows the regulative principle.
This is the qualification of a dhira. But
the dealer is coming from the disciplined section, and he has got the transcendental knowledge from this parampara.
Yeah, the dhira is one who have received the knowledge from transcendent knowledge from the parampara. Yes. What somebody else just told, that is actually the knowledge from dhira should be acquired by that process. This is the right answer. Next, Chatura. The two things we got, the two qualities. What else is about dhira in the purport?
A dhira is one who is not disturbed by material illusion, no one can be undisturbed unless he is perfectly spiritualized realization.
Yeah, that's what this is. You can say this is the Kshanti characteristic of the. Now, if I am telling you to find out the qualities from the knowledge in a dhira, we have read the 18 qualities. Now you find out these in a dhira.
Amanitvam, adambhitvam.
Yeah, they all are there, but first you have to tell the one which is the most important.
Amanitvam.
Which is the most important out of the 18 qualities? By practicing one, all 17 will automatically appear.
Vinamrita. Acharya Upasana.
This is number 2.
Faith in tenets of revealed scriptures.
Number 1 I told you.
Amanitvam.
No.
He must be an unalloyed devotee of the
Yes, that is the right answer. Ananya yogena vibhicharena. So dhira is unalloyed devotees. How can you fit in this purport? You read the last but one paragraph, last line. You read the last line of the last but one paragraph. Oh. Thus you read from thus.
Thus one must hear submissively from a dhira in order to...
No, below that, thus below that.
He must be like Arjuna, and the spiritual master must be as good as the Lord himself.
Yes. Spiritual master must be as good as Lord himself, and how he can be that? By Ananya Bhakti Yogena. Then he is bona fide. He is a then true representative of the Supreme Lord. He repeats everything which he has heard as it is from Krishna. Now you have to tell one character which is against. I mean, it's a negative aspect. Dhira should not be like that. From the last purport you get one line. One message you get from the last paragraph. Dhira should not be
instructive leader.
It should not be
instructive leader.
Okay. Dhira should not be instructor leader. This is wrong statement. Dhira should not.
Sorry.
Yes.
Like they should not be simply seeing to their own remuneration and tolerance.
Yes. Dhira is not interested in making money by teaching. Prabhupada used to say, I am giving Hare Krishna mantra free. I am not charging $10. So Dhira should not be money-minded or man of pound and pennies. He should be, his wealth should be Krishna consciousness. Akinchana gochara. Akinchana vittaya. What is most other important thing for the Dhira? Okay, at least how many qualities now? At least you must have 3, 4. How many you have right now? Okay, you
Four
have.
qualities for
Okay,
Dhira.
find out fifth also. I don't know how many are there. I'm just working with you to find out something good.
Five now. Not interested in making money.
Okay. So now today we have taken a long time on a small mantra. The next mantra is the purport is the biggest purport in Isopanisad. Mantra 11 has the longest purport. So we are just beginning now mantra 11. You have any other question from this section? Okay, I'm going to the mantra number 11. Vidyam cha yas tada vedo bhyam saha avidya mrityum tirtva vidya amritam ashnote. Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge. Vidyam cha avidyam cha yas. Now I am asking you again question. What is vidya in this verse and what is avidya in this verse?
Vidya is devotional or spiritual knowledge, and avidya is material knowledge which is essential for living.
Yes, at least you can recall by referring your notes, no problem. So you understood there's a difference, meaning, okay? Side by side can tad ved ubhayam sa. Sa means side by side. Ubhaya means both. Ved means no. Transcendent the influence of repeated birth and death. Avidya mrityum tirtava. And enjoy the full blessing of immortality. Vidya amritam ashnote. Enjoy. Ashnote. Okay, now we are going to the next slide. Same thing, just to recall, I am not going to repeat. Just have a look on this next slide. 9th verse, Vidya is so-called knowledge. Avidya is ignorance. 10th verse, devotional knowledge and ignorance, so-called knowledge. Avidya is just opposite. But in this verse, Vidya is transcendental, divya, devotional knowledge, and avidya is material knowledge, essential for living in material world. Now, the overview of mantra 11, from 9 to 11 overview of this section. Mantra 9. Avidya takes to darkness, Vidya to greater darkness, because it is so-called knowledge. Therefore, it is a double ignorance. Not knowing but claiming I am knowing. So this is the theme of verse number 9. Ignorance to darkness and so-called knowledge to more dangerous situation. Mantra 10, Vidya gives one result, avidya gives another result. And what is that result? If we associate with Dhira, and get a transcendental knowledge and regulative principle, then we will cross over the birth, death, old age and disease. And if we follow the avidya or ignorance, so vidya, there is a devotional knowledge, therefore spiritual master and everything. And avidya, there is modern education which make us yes and which make us more violent, more characterless. Okay, this was theme of this verse. Vidya and avidya together grant immortality. So material knowledge to maintain the body in the material world and spiritual knowledge of devotional service take us to immortality. Now in this purport, go to the next slide, see the overview of mantra 11. Amritam Ashnuti. Immortality is impossible materially. And the whole 5 paragraphs, 1 to 5, is on this theme. And Srila Prabhupada has given the example of Hiranyakashipu, who wanted to be immortal and wanted to get a boon from Brahma. But ultimately he was finished by Nrsimhadev. So the theme of the first 5 paragraphs is immortality is impossible materially. With the whole description of Hiranyakashipu's endeavor for immortality materially. Now, the rest of the purport from para number 6 to 14. Immortality possible only by following Krishna's teaching. Para number 6 and 7 speak, Krishna comes to make us immortal by imparting knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita. Para number 8 and 9, sense gratification binds us to mortality. So, restrict it. This is actually the avidya of this verse. It means restrict ourselves for material enjoyment, because that will bind us to mortality. The para number 10 and 11, Vidyam cha avidyam cha, harmonize material needs with spiritual advancement through aparadharma. These are small, short words, you make the full word in your copy. Harmonize material needs with spiritual advancement through aparadharma. Para 10 and 11. Para 12, 13 and 14, Vidya cha Idyam cha, attain immortality through paradharma. Attain immortality through paradharma. Okay? Go to the next slide. Punarukti. Punarukti means repetition. Redundancy. Redundancy. So para number 1. Vidyam cha, yes, only one who can learn the process of nescience and then of transcendental knowledge. This is the meaning of the first line. The para number 2. Tad Veda Ubhayam Saha, side by side. Para 3. Avidyaya Mrityum Tirtva, can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death. Para number 4. Vidya Amritam Ashnoti, and enjoy the full blessing of immortality. Now we are going to the next slide. Somebody should read the first paragraph.
Yeah, I'll read from it. Since the creation of the material world,
on a slide, on a screen.
Okay. So, having completely crossed over all accrued karmas, which cause death, mrityum,
tiratva,
in the form of restrictions of knowledge, by performing prescribed karma as a limb of knowledge, he attains Paramatma Amritam, who possesses no faults, by Vidya, contemplating Paramatma, as explained earlier, verse 6.
So in verse 6 there was something about knowing Paramatma. So having completely crossed over all accrued karma, which causes mrityum tirtva, in the form of restriction of knowledge, means no knowledge. So he was doing karma, so he was getting the result. So for result he has to take birth and then he has to die. By performing prescribed karma as a limb of knowledge, prescribed karma as a limb of knowledge is varnashram dharma. Prescribed karma as a limb of knowledge, which is called Nishkama Karma Yoga, leading to the knowledge. And then we attain Paramatma, which is Amritam, who possesses no fault. By Vidya, Vidya means contemplating Paramatma, which is Jnana Yoga, as explained in earlier verse 6. Now read the Amrita. Somebody should read the next.
Amrita refers to the Brahman. Etad Amritam Abhayam Etad Brahma. This Brahman is Amrita and fearlessness. Chandogya Upanishad 4:15-1.
So Amritam means realizing Brahma. Well, this Brahma is fearlessness. We can also get this Amritam in Bhagavad-Gita. Okay, now go to the next. Read the next one. Though the word Amrit is synonymous with liberation or freedom from death, there is no fault of redundancy in the statement by accepting the above explanation. Mrityum tirtva means having crossed over the obstacle in practicing the means of liberation. Because of having destroyed the obstacle to attainment of Lord, one then attain the Lord, Amritam Vashnoti. The statement could read, having been liberated, surpassing death, by avidya, the knower of the Brahm attain liberation, eternal life. However, that would be literary fault called Punar Ukti or redundancy. So this is a technical part of this verse. Now this much is in our slide. Then there are some verses quoted from Bhagavad-Gita, para 1, about para 1 means about the first line of the verse. But this purport is too big actually. Let us read today at least 2 paragraphs, but I think there's no need much to read because you know all this story of Hiranyakashipu. Read the first paragraph.
Since the creation of the material world, everyone has been trying to attain a permanent life. But the laws of nature are so cruel that no one has been able to avoid the hand of death. No one wants to die, nor does anyone want to become old or diseased. The law of nature, however, does not allow anyone immunity from old age, disease or death. Nor has the advancement of material knowledge solved these problems. Material science can discover the nuclear bomb to accelerate the process of death, but it cannot discover anything that can protect man from the cruel hands of old age, disease and death.
Well, this general knowledge you know, there's nothing much here. Yes? Next.
From the Puranas, we learn of the activities of Hiranyakashipu.
Okay, I think there's no need to read. You all read yourself. You know, everybody knows the history of the Hiranyakashipu. Yes?
Yes.
Almost everybody knows. So this is all you read on your own. Then go to the whole point is there. Go to the next page 66. Sri Isopanisad. Read from here.
Sri Isopanisad instructs from that property. Instructs to that.
Yes, Sri Isopanisad instructs us not to make
unfrightened attempts to win the struggle for existence. Everyone is struggling hard for existence, but the laws of material nature are so hard and fast that they do not allow anyone to surpass them. In order to attain a permanent life, one must be prepared to go back to Godhead.
Okay. Now the next, now is it, these I think 5 paragraphs are over here. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are over by now. And what was the message in these 5 paragraphs? What is one line message in the 5 paragraph?
Immortality is impossible materially.
Yes. Now we are going to the paragraph 6. All through this book, immortality is possible by teaching, following the teaching of Lord Krishna, right? So you can see any question and question bank about the first 5 paragraph in your question bank. See quickly.
Explain the statement one should learn the process of knowledge and that of the science side by side. Analogy by Srila Prabhupada once in his connection in your explanation.
Well, this is not in this part, but in first 5 paragraphs. Anything from this first 5 paragraph? No? Okay, read the paragraph.
What is the benefit, so to speak, of the miseries of this material world?
What is the question?
What is the benefit, so to speak, of the miseries of this material world?
What is beneficial to speak of the miseries of material world, right?
Yeah.
So what is the question?
Yeah, that is the question.
Okay.
Number 56.
Oh, I have to open my phone. Krishna. Oh, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Okay, verse 9, 10 and 11, 12. So we have to see for the verse 11, right? Yeah, what is the benefit, so to speak, of the miseries of this material world? I think it has this word come in this purport anywhere?
It talks about Hiranyakasipu, the benefits we get the money and women.
Because of the mysteries of the world, we
Okay, your sound is
shelter of the Lord because, like,
your sound is not clear. Namrata, your sound is not clear.
Prabhuji, is it clear now?
Not actually. Yes. Anyway, read one more paragraph further. I think you have any question or comment, then we will start from paragraph. Next time you finish this on your own, and then we'll discuss this verse, and we'll finish the verse 12.
Prabhu, regarding this last question,
Yes.
just reading the translation of this mantra 11, it is said that we should learn the process of niceness and transcendental knowledge side by side. That means that we should know also the dark side of this material existence, and also the proper use of this material existence. So I think that is the use to know about
No.
Prabhuji, in this very paragraph, it said that because we are struggling very hard for existence, and the laws of material nature is very hard. We would like to actually surpass them and have a permanent life without all these miseries. And for that, we will take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So these miseries are good if we take shelter of the Lord.
As such, there must be some sentence like this. If it is in 5 verses, then we can see. Or else it will come in the next part of the purport. We'll check next time. So, what you said, Govardhandhari, nescience in this translation is actually the material knowledge necessary for maintenance of body in this world, which is avidya, but which is needed. Like you want to navigate in an ocean, so you must know how to navigate in the ocean. But then you have to land on a land, and you must know what is land looks like. So this material world is like an ocean, and we have to know how to cross this. That is an essence. That is avidya, but it is needed because we have to navigate, and then we have to go to the spiritual world. That is vidya. We have to reach on the other side. We should know that also. So any question or comment? I think we have already time over. So we have today finished our mantra 10 and we started mantra 11. And the rest is 6 to 14 paragraph we will finish next week on Monday. Is it okay?
Prabhuji, it is in para 7 that human life is the best opportunity for the culture of spiritual knowledge. And the human being and the miseries of this material world serves to indirectly remind us of our incapability with the dead matter.
Yeah, we will find out this answer when we read. And till this discussion which we have completed in our study, please get opportunity on Saturday and Sunday, finish all your questions. Try to finish this. Have you met the group or not yet?